Get ready for The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's dedicated update show. Events, businesses, and people. Anything and anyone causing a ripple in the community. And now, let's dive in to The Splash Live.
Hello and welcome back to The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. Your stories from your hometown on your community media, Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dayan Chaaban. We thank you for joining us today, as always, on cable television on Comcast Channel 15 and on AT&T Channel 99. You can also find us for free on the web on CivicCenterTV.com. That's the place to go to watch us live, to find our full episodes on demand, to find our individual segments on demand, as well as all of your other favorite programming all throughout the day, including those municipal meetings. If you've missed them during the week, you can find them listed in our brand new program schedule on the right side of your screen on our homepage, CivicCenterTV.com. In addition, today we are also on our Facebook page as usual on Facebook.com/CivicCenterTV15, and you can also join us today on the Facebook page of the West Bloomfield School District, and we welcome everyone joining us there as well. In addition, you can find us on YouTube. That's also a great place to go to find us live, to find all of our programs on demand, and for West Bloomfield Laker football tonight, that's one of the best spots you can find the game live. YouTube.com/Civic Center TV, or just search Greater West Bloomfield Civic Center TV for more information. In addition, you can always listen to your favorite Civic Center TV programs, such as The Splash Live on 89.3 Lakes FM, and of course online on lakesfm.com. Dayan, it's been a very sunny week for the most part. Clouds came in yesterday and a little bit more of the same today and through parts of the weekend.
That is true, Tyler. It's going to continue to be partly cloudy to mostly cloudy throughout the weekend. So for today, we are going to reach highs of 63 with partly clouds, partly cloudy skies, and we're going to drop down low to 43 degrees. We must keep an umbrella in handy as showers may come at around 8 p.m. this evening. Transitioning into Saturday, temperatures will continue to drop down low. We're going to experience some partly cloudy morning, and then as we transition into the afternoon, it's going to be mostly cloudy skies, but then again, partly cloudy as we go into the evening, with temperatures dropping down low to 39 degrees. And then moving into Sunday, similar conditions, partly cloudy morning to mostly cloudy evenings and afternoons. Temperatures will continue to drop down low to reach highs of 51 on Sunday and lows of 37 as we go into the evening.
Dayan, I'm actually excited about this weather because, of course, West Bloomfield's not too far away from the western part of Oakland County, where I call home and also work on days like this beautiful Friday morning in our local area. I'm actually happy about the cooler weather coming in, because when it's warm outside, it tends to be very warm in the apartment. And I don't know if you've looked at your electrical bills lately from DTE, especially during the hotter months of the year when they spike up those prices for running your AC during the day. But let's just say, other than the Splash Live in the morning, it gets very warm, and I'm looking very much forward to the cooler weather, even though it's going to be a little bit gloomier outside for a few days. A beautiful fall is on its way here in Greater West Bloomfield. So is a lot of local news making headlines today across our community. We announced earlier on in the week on the program, we let you know that the Lodge Bar and Grill in Keego Harbor is under new ownership. They're taking to Facebook now to get your opinions on what they should add to their menu and what they should keep from their classic menu as well. We'll tell you how you can participate in that in just a little while. The West Bloomfield Police Department is seeking a new full-time dispatcher. We'll tell you how you can qualify for that job, as well as how you can apply for it as well. Later on in the program, we'll explore our time at the West Bloomfield Fire Department open house last week, and we had a really cool discussion, had a really interesting discussion about influenza, about the seasonal flu with Zachary Yaksich from Alana's foundation. We'll review that conversation. We'll give you a look at that in just a little while, and then we'll tell you about a free vaccine clinic for the flu that's happening at Town Hall next week. West Bloomfield High School football takes its show on the road again this week for the penultimate road game of the season and their final OAA Red Division matchup of the year against the Oxford Wildcats on their iconic blue field in northern Oakland County. Matt Catoni will join me to preview that game and give some updates on some Lakers alumni making news at the college and the professional level. Across town, Roosevelt students made a rainbow on a rainy Thursday afternoon in the gymnasium at Roosevelt Elementary School. We'll take a further look into that and this beautiful picture from one of our favorite elementary schools in our local area later on in the program. Of course, earlier on in the week, we mentioned that West Bloomfield School District is recognizing National Principals Month. This week, today, they're recognizing Lisa Graff from West Bloomfield Middle School. We'll tell you more about Lisa's storied career and in the West Bloomfield School District later on in the program. Plus, the Road Commission for Oakland County wants you to shake your mailbox. Why exactly is that the case? You'll have to stay tuned to find out more. Over the weekend, the Tri-Cities Garden Clubs in Keego Harbor and in Sylvan Lake will be joining together for a fall plant exchange. We'll tell you how you can participate in that. Plus, the Water Resources Commissioner's Office, their student art contest for kids in elementary level grades, that is coming to a close today. 4th and 5th grade students have until the end of the day today to submit their artwork. We'll tell you what the Water Resources Commissioner is looking for and how you kids can get in on the final day of this contest. All that and more coming up. More of your stories from your hometown on your community media up next on The Splash Live.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on CivicCenterTV.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at CivicCenterTV.com and click Schedule at the top of the screen.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Take a break and tune in to The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Join Tyler Kieft and Dayan Chaaban as they go through headlines, events, and update you on the day-to-day in Oakland County. Catch us live Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Watch us on demand at CivicCenterTV.com. Or watch us on TV at Comcast Channel 15 or AT&T at Channel 99. This is Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. On cable and the radio. On the web too, and on social media. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. Your stories from your hometown on your community media outlets, Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dayan Chaaban, and thank you for also joining us today. Those of you on the West Bloomfield School District's Facebook page, we thank you for joining us on The Splash Live. And a reminder, you can join us every single workday live on Civic Center TV and on CivicCenterTV.com. And this is also your home for West Bloomfield Laker football taking on Oxford High School tonight on the road, their final OAA Red Division matchup. Matt Catoni will join me later on in the program to preview that matchup, and we'll have the full game live for you tonight on our CivicCenterTV.com Lakers sports page, as well as on the Facebook page for the West Bloomfield School District, where we're broadcasting live today. A fan favorite restaurant in Keego Harbor is, of course, under new leadership. We mentioned this earlier on in the week that Alex's Development Group LLC has taken over ownership of the Lodge Bar and Grill, a classic and an icon of the restaurant community in Keego Harbor and in Sylvan Lake. They announced this earlier this week in a Facebook post that they had taken over ownership of this restaurant. They also own Alex's Gourmet Market and Bistro in Clarkston, as well as Le Dolce Vita in downtown Detroit. And so they're taking over this restaurant, hoping to maintain the The same nature of that restaurant for all these years that people in Keego Harbor and Sylvan Lake and the Lakes area in our local community have loved, but also wanting to make some changes to improve the experience and improve the food at one of our favorite local restaurants. On Facebook on Thursday, they sent out a call to action to the people of our local community saying, quote, "Your comments have been, in all caps, seen. We would love your input on making our menu even better. Comment below and tell us what you would like to stay on the menu and what we should add to the menu." So if you follow the Lodge Bar and Grill out of Keego Harbor on Facebook, they made a post about this just yesterday, and you can give your insight. What should they add to their menu? What should they take away from their menu? What should they maybe consider doing differently with the way that they present their menu on a day-to-day basis, on special occasions? So much more that you can provide them your insight. And it seems like the new ownership very open to what the community wants to see at the Lodge Bar and Grill. And Diana, a great chance for people to make an impact on one of their favorite restaurants in their local community.
That is true, Tyler. This is something I find this really spectacular that the restaurant's asking its visitors to pick and choose what they should add to their menu, what they want to experience next, what kind of foods they would like to see on that menu, and how can they enhance this amazing food. And if I don't really go to restaurants just for food, I like to go and enjoy, and I'm sure this is why people go. So it's also to enjoy their experience as well. So such a great way to integrate those people into that restaurant.
Yeah, we talked earlier this week to Brad Cousins, who's another restaurateur in the local area. He owns the new Live Bait and Guma restaurants just down the road on Orchard Lake Road in Sylvan Lake at the old location of the Lodge Bar and Grill, the original location of the Lodge at what's also the old Pepino's location. He was talking about his restaurants there and his other restaurant in Keego Harbor at El Camino, and integrating other local businesses into how they make their products, how they distribute their products on a day-to-day basis. Perhaps that's something also that could be incorporated here in the local restaurant community with another fan favorite in our local area in the Lodge Bar and Grill, getting even more involved in that community. Great restaurants all the way down Orchard Lake Road from just outside of West Bloomfield all the way in onto Middlebelt Road and beyond. So many favorites across the community, and maybe partnership is the way for them to go going forward to increase the experience across that sort of restaurant corridor on Orchard Lake Road throughout the heart of our community. It'll be interesting to see how that all goes down and what changes are made under that new leadership. Across town in West Bloomfield, another way you can make an impact on your community while also having a great job is becoming a West Bloomfield Police Department public safety dispatcher. They are seeking a new full-time public safety dispatcher with their first year's pay beginning at about $50,000, and by year 5 you can be making upwards of $62,000. So you will be working a full-time shift. This is not like the last time around where they were looking for part-time work. This is a full-time gig, and your deadline to apply is coming up in about 12 days. October 18th is the final day that you can apply for this job. Here is what is needed. You need at least a high school diploma, and you need to have police dispatch experience. That's not necessarily required to have both, but one or the other would be a requirement at the bare minimum. Both would be great, as well as other advanced degrees or experience similar to being a dispatcher. Not only are you a dispatcher for the police department, you may work for the police department, but this dispatcher also dispatches, as you see on your screen on CivicCenterTV.com, for our local fire department and in partnership with other local departments that are either partnering to respond to different incidents or emergency needs in our community, as our departments are responding and helping out in other communities, and vice versa. So a great opportunity to make a big impact on the community. If you are someone that has great attention to detail, are friendly on the phone, can keep conversations concise and to the point, and get the information that you need distributed quickly, this is the perfect spot for you. And you can apply on wbtownship.org/jobs. wbtownship.org/jobs is the place to go to apply for this. And again, the deadline is October 18th. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. On the other side, we'll take a look back at a really cool conversation I had, an interesting conversation I had over the weekend last week at the West Bloomfield Fire Department open house with Zachary Yaksich from Alana's Foundation and tell you more about their upcoming flu vaccine clinic happening right down the street from us at West Bloomfield Town Hall. More of your stories from your hometown on your community media coming up next on The Splash Live.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Watch West Bloomfield Lakers football all season long on 89.3 Lakes FM and Civic TV. Join Tyler Kieft and Matt Catoni each week for live, in-depth, and exclusive coverage before, during, and after the game. It's your local high school football team on the road and in your backyard on your home for West Bloomfield Laker football, Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Follow us on Twitter at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to The Splash Live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. It is your stories from your hometown on your community media, Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. We also thank you for joining us on our YouTube page at Civic Center TV, on our Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, and today on the Facebook page as well of the West Bloomfield School District at West Bloomfield Schools. On Facebook, give them a like and follow along with them for updates from across our school district every single day. Another great place to get some of those updates is right here on The Splash Live. Last weekend, we had a pleasure of being able to celebrate 100 years of fire service in our community with the West Bloomfield Township Fire Department at their annual open house event. We have a full video of our entire coverage of that. Our special program is on demand on our website, on civiccentertv.com. You can also find it replaying throughout the day on our programming calendar as well on the right side of our homepage. We had so many interesting conversations, not only about the fire department, but about partners of the fire department in the community, whether it is in keeping the community informed, like us here at Civic Center TV, public health partners like Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital, or other organizations in the community like Alana's Foundation, which provides flu vaccinations and influenza information to groups all across the community. Partnership plays a huge role in that. And we had a chance to talk with Zachary Yaksich, one of the founders of Alana's Foundation, about the story behind getting involved in informing the community and providing the community with vaccinations for the seasonal flu, why he got involved in that, what his organization does, and ways that you can take a proactive look into your health and your needs this flu season as we approach the peak of that season in just a little while. Let's take a look at that conversation I had with Zachary Yaksich at this year's West Bloomfield Fire Department open house. Zachary Yaksich from Alana's Foundation joining us at today's event, as they do every year, to talk about the seasonal flu and the dangers of the flu, but also provide flu vaccinations to our community as they do all throughout the season. Zachary, thanks for joining us. Just give us a little bit of background for those unfamiliar with Alana's Foundation about the work that you do here in Greater West Bloomfield and across our communities locally and beyond.
Sure, thank you. Alana's Foundation was developed in memory of my daughter Alana, who in 2003 was 5 years old. She would have been 26 years old today. It was 20 years ago. It's unbelievable. The time went so fast. But she passed away from the flu. So when that happened, I decided to make that passing some purpose, and to educate people how important it was, how dangerous the flu was, how important it was to get vaccinated and protect themselves to prevent that tragedy from happening to other families. So we do that I do many speaking engagements to the communities, schools, churches, and so forth. And then more importantly, we set up clinics like we are here today and make the vaccine convenient and affordable for people to receive.
That's so important to have that convenience and that affordability to these vaccinations, especially for the seasonal flu, because it is constantly changing. There's a new dominant strain, a predominant strain every single year, and there seems to be this misconception that, well, the seasonal flu, it's been around for so long, it doesn't hit people necessarily as hard as other respiratory diseases like maybe COVID-19, but it is something that does hit people hard, and it is something that can be deadly, especially if you don't treat it. And that's part of at the crux of what your organization is trying to advocate for and educate in our community every day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, reportedly, if you look up statistics on the CDC, you'll see that it's reported that 60,000 people, up to 60,000 people a year, actually die from the flu, which doesn't seem like a lot when you compare it to COVID numbers when we came out of a pandemic, but 60,000 people from something that could be prevented as simple as getting a vaccine, that's a lot of people. So, and most people don't realize it. I myself was guilty of it as well. Alana was not vaccinated. My children were not vaccinated for the flu because we didn't know. I had no idea. And at that time, my children didn't fall within the age recommendation, so the pediatrician didn't make the recommendation. So, yeah, it's often treated as common as, oh, it's just the flu. I hear a lot of people say, I had just the flu. And there's no such thing as just the flu, because when you actually have the flu, you are out. So.
We're joined by Zachary Yaksich from the Alana's Foundation. You can find more information on their website, alanasfoundation.org. They have vaccination clinics all throughout our community, all throughout the flu season, and of course plenty more information you can find, including facts about influenza all year long on their website, alanasfoundation.com. And Zachary Yaksich joined us at Fire Station number 1 for the fire department open house. And as you're going through the community, through our local area, and you're having these discussions on the flu, and you're talking about the facts that your organization's had research for years and knows from memory that people don't necessarily access every single day or have in the back of their head, what do you find tends to be the reaction after you give them that information and they see firsthand just the way that influenza does impact our community every single season?
Yeah, it's actually surprising that what my Alana's story is not necessarily unique, but what it is, because I'm local, it's putting a face and makes it real. And I think what you said was, there's not a time I don't, after a speech or a talking engagement or educational session, whatever it is, somebody comes up to me. I've even had people in the medical profession, nurses and doctors, who said, I'm in the field, and up until today, I never got the vaccine. After I heard your story, I'm getting myself vaccinated. I'm getting my children vaccinated. So that's the most surprising thing that's happens, is that, and I shouldn't say surprising. That's the impact, I guess, with putting a face and making it real instead of just being a statistic.
You hear those stories, you see how it actually has affected somebody right next door to you or in your community, and it changes the narrative on just how big of an impact this disease can have each and every day. And part of your efforts, too, to get people vaccinated is to go out in the community and provide, as you said, that affordable and simple access to these vaccines. And you have a couple of vaccination clinics coming up, obviously, today. At Fire Station number 1. One of those is going on today, but the others are coming up, and more information on that on alanasfoundation.org.
Yeah. We're actually going to be in the Township here in a couple of days as well. And then if you go on our website, you can look up, and you'll see the list of our clinics that we're hosting. We're going to be in some various schools around the area as well. But aside from that, if you don't see a clinic that works for your schedule, go to your doctor's office, or almost on every street corner now, the pharmacies are administering them as well. So just stop in and get yourself vaccinated and protect yourself and your family.
I talked to a doctor on our program, The Splash Live, recently who said the best time to get your flu shot is as soon as possible. The second best time is right away. And so great resources in our community, such as Alana's Foundation, make that really easy for people to get their vaccinations right here in our community. Alana'sFoundation.org. You'll find more information about their upcoming vaccination clinics, including one coming up very soon at West Bloomfield Town Hall in a few days. Zachary, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
We were so glad to have Zachary Yaksich from Alana's Foundation with us at the Fire Department Open House over the weekend, last weekend. You can watch the full open house coverage from our team at Civic Center TV on our website on civiccentertv.com. Right now, it is on demand and available. It's also on our YouTube page. And we talked to him about, and he had mentioned there being a vaccine clinic coming into West Bloomfield Township in just a few days. That is happening next week. It's happening on Wednesday, October 11th at 3:30 and up until 5 o'clock at West Bloomfield Town Hall. On your screen right now, and thank you, Calvin, for putting that up, is a QR code. You scan that QR code, pause our video, come on back to it on YouTube or on CivicCenterTV.com. Scan that QR code, and that will take you directly to the sign-up page on Alana's Foundation's website, alanas.vna.org, alanas.vna.org. And the clinic ID is 1826 with a passcode of Alana's 2023. Again, the clinic ID 1826 and the passcode is Alana's 2023. You can also find that information available on wbtownship.org. This is being hosted by West Bloomfield Township in partnership with Alana's Foundation. They do this every single year. And again, that's going to happen on Wednesday, October 11th. If you pre-register, you can put your insurance information through if you have insurance. And if not, the great thing about Alana's Foundation, Dayan, is if you don't have insurance, they will help you to make sure that you are getting this vaccination and that it's not going to be at a high cost for you or at any cost for you just because you don't have health care insurance. They make sure that you get the health care that you need in this case and help prevent unnecessary complications from influenza or even just the simple pain that often comes along with that debilitating sort of fatigue and those symptoms that come along when you do have the seasonal flu.
Tyler, I just want to say thank you to Zachary Yaksich. I mean, we do understand that there was a great loss, but he managed to get back into the community and spread awareness on the flu vaccination and how important it is to protect your family and your children from something we consider normal, if I must say, because as he said, he did say in the interview, oh, it's just the flu, but sometimes it can be really deadly, unfortunately, and we saw that with Zachary's daughter. So Alana's Foundation is a great resource to go to if a person cannot afford their local healthcare provider or their insurance does not cover the flu vaccination. There's also a lot of great resources all around our community. I'm sure, Tyler, if you just search on Google, you can find tons and tons of resources. There's always these health events that we are talking about on the Splash Live, and they also do provide several resources, whether it's flu vaccination or not. Also, one more thing I must mention about the flu vaccination. I don't know why the word vaccination right now is just associated. It's so politicized right now, especially after the COVID-19 phase. I mean, it's been so politicized. People have a lot of misconceptions, but I must say that humanity was saved by a lot of vaccinations. I mean, just look at the chickenpox vaccination. What once was a deadly disease now is considered nothing. So we must not create those misconceptions about vaccinations. We should know that the flu vaccination is very well established. It has been around for several years. There's a lot of research confirming that it can truly protect you from the flu and your children and create this immunity for the future. I mean, it will not stop it, but if you do have the flu, you will have a less severe effect. It will have a less severe effect on your body. So, I mean, you have great resources and you should do it. So why not?
The best resource to go to if you have concerns about a vaccine, if you have questions about about whether or not you should get a flu shot is to go to your primary care provider, speak to a doctor that you trust or that you go to that knows your family and knows your medical history. That's always the best place to start these conversations. Talking to organizations like Alana's Foundation or watching our programming earlier on this month, we had Dr. Jamie Tawil from Grand River Medical Associates, who gave a little bit of insight on how they produce the seasonal flu vaccine every single year, why it works, why sometimes it doesn't work from one flu season to another. And we have all of that information available for you on CivicCenterTV.com. Calvin, if we can put that QR code up one more time, just want to give one final reminder. Alana's Foundation will be holding its free vaccination clinic free flu vaccination clinic at West Bloomfield Town Hall Wednesday, October 11th from 3:30 to 5 p.m. at West Bloomfield Town Hall. Next week, Wednesday, October 11th. Mark your calendars, 3:30 to 5 p.m. You don't necessarily have to pre-register, but it's helpful if you do by scanning this QR code that will take you directly to the page you need to go to register at alanas.vna.org. And your clinic ID 1826, passcode Alana's 2023. You can find that same information so you don't have to commit it to memory on wbtownship.org. We'll take a break on The Splash Live. Plenty more of your stories from your hometown on your community media coming up after this.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on CivicCenterTV.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at CivicCenterTV.com and click schedule at the top of the screen.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Follow us on Twitter at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to The Splash Live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. It is your stories from your hometown, directly from your community media, Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft, Dayan Chaaban also with us, and so is Matt Catoni, our sports reporter, whose voice you'll hear every Friday night alongside me on our broadcasts of West Bloomfield Laker football, including tonight, a big game coming up following a 36-44 loss last week on the road in Clarkston. The Lakers head back into northern Oakland County, just a little ways away in Oxford, to take on the Oxford Wildcats in their final OAA Red Division matchup of the season. Matt, last week's game against Clarkston was a really interesting one because at certain points it seemed like the Lakers and Clarkston were going to be battling it out, and it was going to be a prize fight that would go all 10 rounds and come down to a last-second decision. Then at other points it seemed like the Lakers were going to get ran off that field, ran out of town, and have some explaining to do before coming into this week against Oxford. And all of a sudden, in the waning minutes of the game, the last 3.5 to 4 minutes, Lakers started to make a comeback there. We saw a lot of good and a lot of bad last week in Clarkston.
Yeah, really, it all goes back to what we've been saying throughout this season for the Lakers. It's just playing a disciplined and clean game of football. They had some key mistakes in last week's game. We saw that snap go over Rick Nance's head last week after, seeing some bad snaps the week prior. So that's going to be important to see the Lakers really try and minimize those mistakes as they head into the last OAA meeting of the year.
Yeah, Rick Nance last week against Oxford, 19 for 31, 228 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Those 2 interceptions, and you can maybe give one to Oxford as being just great coverage on their side. The other one was kind of just a last-second bomb pass at the end of the half that was intercepted by Desmond Stevens. But nonetheless, Rick Nance has been fantastic all season long. In fact, with the chaos of the end of the game last week, I failed to mention during the play-by-play that he actually surpassed the West Bloomfield High School record for career touchdowns, surpassing Bryce Beasley's 46 career touchdowns with 3 touchdowns last week, bringing him from 44 to 47 overall, which is a new school record. So congratulations to Rick. But this is a team that has a lot of boom potential on the offensive side of the ball and is really tough to go up against on the defensive side of the ball, which makes this another interesting matchup tonight against Oxford, a team that loves to run the football, a team that's got a talented rushing game in their own right, led by Luke Johnson, who's a guy that averages over 6 yards per carry, and also a young quarterback in Jack Hendricks that's shown some potential of his own, similar to sophomore quarterbacks we've seen earlier on in this season have some success against the West Bloomfield Lakers. What do they need to clean up tonight, Matt, in particular, to make what on paper should be a pretty simple and easy game for the Lakers? But they're going up against a team like Oxford that always plays hard, plays a tough brand of football, and has given some teams that have given West Bloomfield trouble, like Stony Creek last week, a lot of trouble in their own right.
Yeah, you really mentioned how Oxford wants to run the ball, and that's something that the Lakers have really struggled against this year. We saw them against Chippewa early in this year, really struggle to stop the run in the second half. And last week we saw them struggle to stop the run. So that's going to be interesting to see how they really combat this Oxford offense. It's really going to try and rely on that run game with a young quarterback. And really, force the Lakers to, like I said before, play a disciplined brand of football, not really try and extend themselves too much and make big plays.
Yeah, a lot of really good athletes, too, on this Oxford team. Chock full of multi-sport athletes. Eli Carpenter's a baseball player. Jake Champagne, a baseball player also. So is quarterback Jack Hendricks, a shortstop for Oxford. And Jay Cady, who's their kicker, also plays at defensive back as well, can play a little bit of tight end and wide receiver. This is a versatile team that, in particular, in the trenches, is very veteran. For a team that's kind of young and back on the rise, a lot of juniors in their first season as starters or varsity players, sophomores in leadership positions such as Jack Hendricks at the quarterback. I take a look. I'm looking at my spotter chart on my screen to my right here. Charlie Campbell, the right tackle, senior. Brendan Cass, the right guard, junior. Their center, the quarterback of that O-line, Aiden Munson, senior. The left side of their line also, left tackle, another important position, a blind side lineman, Sean Wilson. He's a senior. Lucas Strohmeyer, their left guard, also a junior. And that's going to be the key matchup, I think, tonight, Matt, is the matchup between this Oxford offensive line, veteran in its own right, with several starters returning from last year's team, and those that are coming up already having great seasons in their first season as a starter or first season on varsity, going up against the West Bloomfield Lakers and a D-line that is not only great on the edges with Jonathan Gabriel and Brandon Davis Swain, but we're seeing some key players like Kamari Pittman in the middle also having a really big impact in the backfield over the last several weeks.
Yeah, really. You mentioned how Pittman has had a tremendous impact, and that's really a story that I found interesting with this Lakers defense this year. You have some star-studded names like Brandon Davis Swain, Jameer Benjamin, a lot of these D1 talented guys, but it's really been the guys like Brody Pecor and Pittman that have really stepped up and helped make this Lakers defense so dominant this year.
Yeah, Pittman on many of those assisted tackles and sacks last week, and Brendan Davis Swain has not necessarily to say turned a corner, because he's always been a great D lineman for the Lakers, but kind of has had an even more inflated impact than usual over the past several weeks, and looking for a lot of the same tonight. The Lakers take on the Oxford Wildcats on the blue field in Oxford. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock. Our coverage will begin with This Week in Laker Football at 6 o'clock. followed by the Laker pregame show at around 6:30 as well. Matt Catoni and I will be on the call, and our whole team out on site at Oxford also for tonight's final OAA Red Division matchup. And for the Lakers, Matt, look, they're out of the race in the OAA Red Division. There's no way under any circumstances, no matter how these last 3 weeks of the season chalk out, that they can win the OAA Red Division. But they're going up against a tough schedule over the next 3 weeks. Oxford tonight, Southfield A&T comes to West Bloomfield next week, and arguably their biggest matchup of the entire season for the Lakers, and then they finish off against Oak Park. So now the big question goes from winning the OAA Red Division to positioning yourself in the most opportune spot for the playoffs. You think about Oxford, a team that's gone up against Lake Orion and has gone up against Utica Eisenhower and Clarkston, and will go up against U of D Jesuit. That's a lot of playoff points that are up for grabs tonight, and next week especially against Southfield A&T, especially if they come into that game with a win after this week. This could be a big 3 weeks for West Bloomfield, particularly for playoff positioning.
Yeah, really. And you mentioned the importance of playoff positioning and the points that are going to be available these next 2 weeks. But really how I'm looking at it is especially just how you can use these next 2 weeks as a measuring stick as you try and build yourself to hopefully a state championship title roster. Southfield A&T is one of the best teams in the state. They have one of the most talented rosters that you're going to see the entire season. So it's going to be important to see really where you stand at this point in the season, late in the season, as you get ready for the playoffs.
I take a look at last season with the Clarkston Wolves, 10-2, 10-3 overall, and they came into the playoffs with 2 losses. They made it all the way to the state semifinal where they ultimately lost to Caledonia, but you can make it far into playoffs. You can position yourself really well, especially out of the OAA Red Division, if you finish the season with 2 losses. So these next 3 weeks got to be 3 wins for West Bloomfield if they want to have a home playoff game, and they want to be really well positioned for a long run in the playoffs where some of those other power players, maybe like we saw last year when the Lakers had that interesting first round matchup against Cass Tech that many question the validity of going into that playoffs from the MHSAA. Could other power players take each other out and position West Bloomfield even better, given that they have 2 losses? The only way that happens is if they go into the offseason with just 2 losses, or worst case scenario, they got to get at least 2 out of these last 3. That all begins tonight. Nothing along those lines matters if they don't come out of Oxford with a win. Again, that kickoff is 7 o'clock. Our coverage begins at 6 o'clock with This Week in Laker Football. And Matt, not only on the gridiron on Friday nights are Lakers making impacts, but on Saturday and Sunday as well. Any updates from our alumni at the next level?
Yeah, let me make sure that I have the time right on this. I saw recently that Trey Mosley is planning on having a meet and greet. It's going to be this Sunday at the Lefty's Tea Steak off of Telegraph Road in Waterford, Michigan. And he's really had a, interesting season so far. He's had an impact for a really lackluster Spartans offense. He's really made his presence felt, and just really an unfortunate turn of events so far for the senior year, though.
And we're continuing to see other West Bloomfield alums like Samaj Morgan have big impacts on the University of Michigan. Of course, Donovan Edwards there as well, and Matthew Judon at the professional level, also continuing to make the Lakers green and white shine at the next level and representing the anchor very well. Matt, we appreciate you joining us today.
Yep, thank you for having me.
Plenty more insight from Matt Catoni and I on the Laker pregame show beginning at 6:30. Our coverage of West Bloomfield Laker football tonight, as always, begins at about 6 o'clock with This Week in Laker Football. The pregame show, as I said, at 6:30, and kickoff at 7 o'clock live from Oxford High School. The Lakers taking on the 2-4 Oxford Wildcats, who have wins against a familiar foe in Stony Creek. They beat them by 10 points last week, shut out Oak Park 37-0 a few weeks ago in week 2, and really only 2 blowouts, the 3 blowouts that they've had this year, and those are against 3 high quality teams we've seen over the last 3 weeks in Clarkston Adams, and Lake Orion. So an interesting matchup in a tough environment that seats 5,000 people at its base level in Oxford. Going to be a great game tonight, and we are looking forward to having you join us. You can also join us on the Facebook page of the West Bloomfield School District, where we're broadcasting the Splash live today, facebook.com/West Bloomfield Schools. And of course, keep up to date on your Laker football team all season long on civiccentertv.com/Laker Sports. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. Plenty more of your stories from your hometown on your community media up next.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
When you have a gambling problem, you have a money problem. Don't let your gambling cause you financial hardship. If you or someone you love is struggling with gambling, we can help. Get free confidential counseling and win your life back. Learn more at michigan.gov/problemgambling.
Take a break and tune in to the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Join Tyler Kieft and Dayan Chaaban as they go through headlines, events, and update you on the day-to-day in Oakland County. Catch us live Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Watch us on demand at civiccentertv.com. Or watch us on TV at Comcast Channel 15 or AT&T at Channel 99. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. It is your stories from your hometown with your community media, Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dayan Chaaban. And of course, we've had a little bit of cloudier days in the forecast over the last several days here in the Greater West Bloomfield area, and that's going to continue over the weekend, but bringing us some sunshine. The students at Roosevelt Elementary School in the West Bloomfield School District. Here's a picture of them in their gymnasium. The entire school gathering together to create a rainbow on a cloudy Thursday in the Greater West Bloomfield community, bringing some sunshine, some great smiles. This photograph taken overhead by Sonia Afnan Photography, and this posted on the West Bloomfield School District's Facebook page. A great showing and a really nice way, Dayan, to take a school picture with the entire class over at Roosevelt Elementary School and bring some smiles to the community on a rainy day.
That is actually very, very creative. I love the caption that they mentioned on their Facebook, bringing some sunshine on a rainy day, bringing this rainbow inside the school. Very, very sweet picture. And thank you for Sonia for this wonderful picture. I love the colors, like how I don't know how they managed to properly seat these students and have them wear all these different shirts. But this was very well planned for, Tyler. I can see it.
Yeah, in a creative way. I don't know if it was picture day. I know it's that time of the year. It's early in the year. They usually, schools around this time maybe are starting to have picture day. I don't know if that was the case or if it was just they had a school assembly, they had a photographer there, and they had the time and put the effort in to arrange this. But however it happened, a great moment over at the West Bloomfield School District at Roosevelt Elementary, and we thank the school district, Rebecca Fannin, and the team over there for posting that on their Facebook page so we could show you today on the Splash Live. The West Bloomfield School District also recognizing principals all throughout the month of October. Both principals and assistant assistant principals as we celebrate National Principals Month. And today they're recognizing Lisa Graff for her 28 years of service to the West Bloomfield School District. All 28 of her career years in education have been in West Bloomfield. She's currently the assistant principal at West Bloomfield Middle School, previously held a similar role at Abbott Middle School, which is, ironically enough, now the location of Roosevelt Elementary School. And a big congratulations to Lisa. She's been a huge part and a great partner with our team in the State of the Communities, which we've held both at Abbott Middle School previously and at Orchard Lake Middle School in the past as well, and she's played a role in helping us organize that, and most recently the State of the Communities earlier on this year at the new West Bloomfield Middle School. Does a great job every single day, very fun personality and great to be working with, and makes up for a pleasant work environment and a school environment at West Bloomfield Middle School every single day. So congratulations on 28 years and counting in the West Bloomfield School District for Lisa Graff. And of course, we recognize her alongside the West Bloomfield School District for her service, Dayan.
That is very true. We are seeing a lot of our wonderful, wonderful principals and vice principals. They're doing so great. They've been there for such a long time. It just shows you, Tyler, that it's a great environment to work in. A lot of these principals have been working for 20 plus years. I mean, Lisa has been there since 1996. So this is just magnificent, and she's very creative. Lisa's very active on Twitter, and we're always following her. We're always following what she does in the school. We always talk about these stuff on the Splash Live, how she's always creating this. We did mention last week about this visual communication, visual historical communication that she posted all on the walls of the school. So very, very creative. Assistant principal, Lisa Graff. And thank you for being with us for 28 years. Thank you for continuing to better our education system here in West Bloomfield.
And as we recognize National Principals Month, though, we should recognize the way that our principals in the West Bloomfield School District, at the very least, because that's who we work so closely with, what they do on a day-to-day basis to create that sort of friendly and community environment in their schools. I have plenty of family members that work in education, friends as well, and something that they've always said that they love about administrators is that is having administrators running their schools that are active, that they see out in the halls more than they hear about them being in their office. And that's certainly the case with Lisa at West Bloomfield Middle School. She walks around and the students know her, the teachers know her, they know that they can go up and have a conversation with her. She knows many, if not all, of their names every single day and does a great job. So we salute her and all the principals in the West Bloomfield School District and across our local community in the several school districts that are serving the greater West Bloomfield community every single day, all throughout the month of October, National Principals Month. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. On the other side, why the Road Commission for Oakland County wants you to shake your mailbox as soon as possible. Stay with us. The Splash Live continues next.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on CivicCenterTV.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at CivicCenterTV.com and click Schedule at the top of the screen. Watch West Bloomfield Lakers football all season long on 89.3 Lakes FM and Civic Center TV. Join Tyler Kieft and Matt Catoni each week for live, in-depth, and exclusive coverage before, during, and after the big game. It's your local high school football team on the road and in your backyard on your home for West Bloomfield Laker football, Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
This is Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. On cable and the radio. on the web too, and on social media. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. And now, back to The Splash, live.
We welcome you back to The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. Your stories from your hometown on your community media, Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dayan Chaaban. The Road Commission for Oakland County posted on Facebook recently, and it was shared by the West Bloomfield Police Department. They want you to shake your mailbox. Now, kind of a weird request out of the blue. Perhaps they were hacked. Not the case. They were not hacked. They actually posted this, and this is actually useful information. Over time, mailbox posts, especially those that are typically made of wood or of some prefabricated plastics, tend to get loose in the ground, or they can rot because, of course, they're underground. They're getting a lot of that moisture and the expansion and contraction of the soil below the ground, which makes them loose fitting to the ground, maybe a little bit wobbly, or they're tilting over. And during the winter season, as Road Commission snowplows are coming through, pass through roads in your neighborhood, or are especially along main road streets where homes also may be situated, those snowplows come by, they plow a bunch of snow off the ground, and as that careens off onto the side of the road, it can be heavy snow, it can be moving at fast speeds, and if that knocks into your mailbox and your mailbox is wobbly, there's a chance it knocks your mailbox over, and depending on the day, maybe it's a heavy snow day, your mailbox may be buried, your mail might not be able to be delivered, or could get damaged as a result. So, shaking your mailboxes tells you how stable they are, even if you may look a little bit unstable in the process of just shaking your mailbox around like a crazy person. But it also tells you if you need to repair or replace, particularly the mailbox post, before the winter time comes around. On Facebook, the Road Commission for Oakland County's Managing Director Dennis Kolar said, quote, "Shaking your mailbox is an important way to avoid damage from the impact of flying snow this winter. But mailboxes and posts in good condition can withstand the force of plowed snow. By preparing beforehand, residents can ensure that their mailboxes are stable and safe this winter," and closed quote. If your mailbox wobbles, it probably is in need of some fixing. Otherwise, Diane, it's no problem.
It is definitely no problem. Tyler, I just want to mention that there is a Shake Your Mailbox Day, and it's October 17th. So this is the first time I know about this. It's literally a thing. It's a day just to make sure that your mailbox does not need maintenance, or if it does, then you should work on it before winter arrives, as you said. So this is, I don't know, this is kind of funny. I never knew about this, but it's definitely very helpful to actually shake your mailbox. I wish we can do this like at the same time on the same lane in the same neighborhood with some music on. Like it could be an event.
You know, I was thinking along the same lines, Diane. When I was a student at Michigan State during finals week, there was a tradition. It's still ongoing tradition at MSU called the Midnight Scream. Every night at midnight during finals week, at exactly midnight, students are encouraged to open their windows for those on campus in particular. It may sound like you're having a psychological episode otherwise, and scream out your windows, let out that tension. I'd like to have a similar energy in our communities for Shake Your Mailbox Day, where we all figure out as neighborhoods when we're going to go outside and together shake our mailboxes. And you know, if there is extraterrestrial life looking over us, that'll stop it right there.
They're enjoying
it. Road Commission for Oakland County. You can find more information on rcocweb.org, the Road Commission for Oakland County, or follow them on their Facebook page by searching Road Commission for Oakland County for even more information. Over the weekend, a fun event in Keego Harbor and Sylvan Lake as their local garden clubs combined for an annual plant swap. Now, this is their fall plant swap happening Saturday from 10 a.m. until 12 noon in Rose Sorter Park at the gazebo. That is behind City Hall in Keego Harbor. The little pocket park behind City Hall at Keego Harbor with that gazebo is called Rose Sorter Park. That is where this will be happening. It's open to Sylvan Lake and Keego Harbor Garden Club members, and residents from local areas as well can all come in and exchange their plants with other people with green thumbs all throughout our community. It's a great time to pick up some plants to maybe decorate your homes during the colder months of the year, or pick up some of those seeds that you'll need to either plant now or in the near future to ultimately bloom in the spring in just a few months away. A great opportunity coming up this weekend with the Keego Harbor and the Sylvan Lake Garden Clubs. In addition, today is the final day for you 4th and 5th grade students and, of course, your kids to participate in the Water Resources Commissioner's Office's Student Art Contest. The deadline to submit your entries is today. They got to be submitted by mail, at least post-stamped, October 6th, and the winners are going to be announced in a little over a month on November 17th. The 19th annual Oakland County Water Resources Commissioner's Office's Kids Clean Water Calendar Contest concludes today. So, if you want to enter on the final day of entries, 4th and 5th grade students in public, private, and charter schools, as well as home schools in Oakland County can participate. The artwork theme, we can all help to keep Oakland County's lakes, rivers, streams, and watersheds clean. Your entry should promote how to protect our lakes, our streams, our other waterways from pollution, and how to conserve water. They got to be originally drawn by your 4th and 5th grade students, so parents, you can observe but not partake. And the canvas has to be simply a plain white letter-sized paper, 8.5 by 11. Mail your entries by the end of the day today. Postmark them today. Oakland County Water Resources Commissioner's Office in Waterford. That's 1 Public Works Drive, Building 95W, Waterford, Michigan, 48328. More information can be found on oakgov.com under their Water Resources Commissioner's Office webpage. Learn more, oakgov.com/water. That's the exact website. Plenty more of your stories from your hometown on your community media outlets coming up very soon. Stay with us on The Splash Live.